I think some of the most common things we see in practice are slides that have too much information and are too complicated. And the other is presentations that are too generalized. So when students think they need to present to a broad audience, they do not provide the details of their research. So our most common question to students is, what are you actually doing in your thesis project? And often the answer to that question ends up becoming part of their actual 3-minute thesis presentation.
Yeah, I would agree. I think very often what I find is with students, they think they need to not embellish, but to kind of think, oh, my research is not interesting enough. And so they choose to go either to the big team project or choosing something that they think is more compelling and forgetting about their own research. And I think versus their own research is the actual thing that we want to know. And the other thing I think is very often we get questions for slides. What should I put on my slide? What is the most? How should the slide look like? Is that okay on the slide?
I mean, I think I think most students are so prepared by the time they get day of. They do really well. I'm always really impressed. It's only one or two that just, I don't want to say get too in their head, but they get so nervous that they might throw themselves off. Doesn't happen very often, but they just need to take a deep breath and try again. And so some people will actually do that and have still gone on in the competition. So those are a couple of things that are the main thing.
I'm always impressed how good they do. I would be like, I don't see the nerves.
Mm-hmm.
They always seem very calm to me. I mean, I know they're not, but they always seem calm. They can hit it out of the park. I'm like, wow. I know I'm sitting there with my sheets and the sheets with the timing on, and they always do well. It's like amazing.
And the support for each other. I think that's the other thing is I think they just genuinely really enjoy all the presentations because it's interesting to learn. And I think just being there, I think most of the students are just like super champions of all of the other ones that are presenting. And so I think they just really enjoy being there as much as we do and learning about all of the interesting research that they're doing.
I know they're nervous. You will be nervous if you're giving a presentation. That's a common theme, and I think you should expect it and be even proud because you're doing something out of your comfort zone. And for me, and I think for Jacqui too, it's always this very interesting. We are interested in the research. We are happy for them to be there, and I am awed that they go up and do this in 3 minutes, which I could have never done in my doctoral. He says I would have taken 20. So for me, I'm proud of them. That's, I think, what I want them to know.
Yeah, and I mean, I think just we're so thankful that they participate, and we know it is a ton of work to get to where they're at, so we appreciate it. So I think we often say this, but just a thank you. Thank you for spending the time and participating. I also think that they don't realize how much it might help them or what some of the potential opportunities that might come of this are. And sometimes that might not happen for months or even years later. But I do think all the work that they're putting in is worth it and will help them in many other aspects of academia and beyond. We can't control the judges. I think that's the one thing. And, judges have a rubric. They have a certain criteria, judging criteria. They have a very difficult job. All of the presentations are so great and they're so diverse. Judges are humans too, and we all have our interests and biases. So just because you may not have advanced didn't mean you didn't give an outstanding presentation. I think they're all really good, and in most cases, almost everyone could advance. So it's sometimes challenging.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It is a competition. At the end of the day, it's about the judges. But I think just being there, putting yourself out there, challenging yourself to 3 minutes in trying to present your research to a non-specialist audience is a tremendous job, and it's just being proud of that. Just the courage that it takes for them to do the presentation in front of 3 or 4 judges is a lot, and then also presenting it to others outside of your field where you don't know how it will be perceived. I think that's just a big step, and I'm proud of them. And even if you haven't won, there will be emails that come into your inbox inviting you to other opportunities, because there's often other things that come up for some of our top presenters.